How about them dogs, man?
How about them?
We always say, how about them Cowboys? But how about them dogs?
How about them motherfucking dogs, boy?
I know you excited, man.
They look good, man. I said it last episode. We still look like the team to beat.
I see. You got
Indiana.
you got your Christmas vibe going.
Yeah.
You got your holiday season stuff going, man.
Indiana and Ohio State looked a little pale to me, a little stale. I wasn't impressed. I mean, I know they're both decent defenses, but man, we just look like the full package right now. I mean, the only reason Alabama got 7 points was 40 yards of penalties, and then we scored at will. Like, it was very satisfying.
Well, let's get into that. This is Inside of the Red Zone, episode 13 of our great show, with myself and Mr. Moneybag Joe himself, the current father now, right? Yeah. That man said he got daddy duties to do now.
I do.
Okay.
We're still gonna get this podcast.
Okay. Yeah. That's
law. Yeah, thanks.
That's law. That's law. Well, hey, let's get into it because the Bulldogs, I thought that they waited at the perfect time to put a national statement at SEC Championship. I was there too, live. Believe it or not, there was a lot more Alabama fans than Georgia fans there. Interesting. But coming into that game, Alabama had beaten Georgia 17 of the last 18 meetings. They were undefeated in the SEC Championship game. And if you saw everything was just going towards Alabama's side. But everybody likes a good underdog story. And you can't say underdog without the Bulldogs, right? And I got to say, I was thoroughly pleased. We saw this coming, I would say, because the last couple weeks, I think since the Mississippi State game, you saw the offensive coordinator with Mike Bobo starting to do some play call. Then that translated to some other ones. Then Texas came, and now, obviously, this Alabama game. But they look good heading into the college football playoffs.
Gunnar Stockton keeps on just being him. Defense just looks better and better every single week. I know I shouted out 15 maybe 2 episodes ago. I still want to shout him out for that shitty ass fucking drive that you cost us 7 points. But it'll be all right. Just lock in. Don't let it happen again.
15. Not Ty Simpson, but the Bulldogs 15.
Yeah, he's our cornerback.
Yeah, cornerback. Yeah, that's my boy.
The pass interference I was fine with. It was underthrown. He couldn't do anything about it. But that unsportsmanlike conduct was the stupidest shit I've seen in a long time. It was like 3rd and 18, and you're gonna punch somebody in the SEC championship.
I gotta revise that play because I was there. I don't remember the play where he was talking about
It was the drive they scored.
Oh, the drive that they scored on.
Yeah, it was like 2nd and 16 or something, and it was an incomplete pass, and then down the field, out of the play, Buddy got in 15's face, so 15
So I know the play that you're talking about. So funny enough, I was there. I don't know if they showed it on TV, but that same play where they called pass interference, it was a holding on the offense. I mean, on the offense that they didn't call. And refs miss calls. You know, it is what it is. We're all humans, but they missed that call on the offensive backfield when I forgot who it was getting after Ty Simpson. They were getting after him all night. And they called pass interference, and they didn't call that. So that should have been off. They should have offset it, that call. Yeah,
I know Ryan Day likes to say it's Ohio State against the world, but I really feel like it's Georgia against the world. Like, these rankings that came in, not putting Georgia at 2 is fucking crazy.
Right.
We just avenged our only loss of the season in emphatic fashion.
Right.
We just won the SEC championship, probably the hardest championship behind the national. And our only loss was in week 3 or week 4, and we just avenged it emphatically.
Yeah.
And you drop Ohio State 1 point or one. I just thought.
Well,
I was mad about it at first, but now I'm not because we have either Tulane or Ole Miss, head coachless Ole Miss. So I'm not too mad about it anymore. But it's just, dude, they always hate on Georgia. And the fact that you can't punish a team for making the SEC championship. I've been hearing that all week, but we were 12-0 to 2 years ago, 12-0, barely lost to Alabama in the SEC championship, and we got kicked out of the playoffs. I mean, I saw a stat. There's been 16 ranked teams play in the conference championship since the playoffs started. 15 of them went down in the ranks after losing.
Yeah.
You know who the 16th is? The only one that didn't fucking fall down the ranks, Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama, of course.
Man, it's crazy. But
well, we'll get into that later on because we're limited on time today. I also thought Georgia should have been too, but I'll get to them. Let's talk about the Big Ten championship before we get back to that. I thought that Indiana had a chance. I ultimately thought that Ohio State would win the game, but I thought Indiana had a chance because I thought their defense was a little better than last year, and they impressed me against Penn State and Oregon at Oregon. So I thought they had a chance. I just thought that the speed of their receivers, where Carnell Tate and Mr. Jeremiah Smith, would be too much for their corners. But I was wrong. That front, they got some grown men up front, and I was pleased by what I saw with Kirk Cincinnati in his Indiana team. I think I've been a little bit more hopeful about them this year than you have because you feel like, they ain't really play nobody. But I was impressed. And, I always thought that it was Mendoza's Heisman to lose. You had some other names. But for me, though Ohio State lost, and we'll get to the whole ranking thing. Though Ohio State lost, I felt like they should have at least dropped the 3 because the obviously the points that you made about Georgia winning the strongest conference in the nation, the SEC, avenging their loss in week 4 to Alabama, right? And then of course beating 4 top 10 teams. They beat Alabama, they beat Ole Miss. At the time they beat Texas. They beat some quality teams. And Tennessee. So I felt like they should Tennessee at the time as well. So I felt like outside of I think Alabama, they have the most top 25 wins against any opponent that they played.
They have more ranked wins than Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State put together.
Precisely. And they're all in the Big Ten. And so that's why I thought they were in the strongest conference in the nation. And so I thought that they should have been too. Now, we're going to get to the rankings now. Now, with the committee, I don't know what the committee was thinking. Maybe it was because I think the committee awarded Ohio State number 2 because it was deemed as a close loss and a good loss to the number 1 team in the country. But I felt like it doesn't matter because this is why we play the games. If a team that won their conference championship doesn't move up to a team that not only did they lose, but regardless of losing, they lost by a close margin. A loss is a loss. I feel like they should have dropped. I'm not saying they should have been 4th where Texas Tech is, but I'm in agreement with you. I thought they should have been at 3, and the Bulldogs should have been at 2.
I'm glad someone else thinks that way because, man, these committee cats, I don't think any of them have ever played football. I really don't. And the fact that you're going to let Tulane and James Madison in the playoffs when you have teams like Vanderbilt, Notre Dame.
Well, we'll get to that now.
BYU would beat James Madison and Tulane.
Yeah.
Throw them against Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's whooping both of their asses.
Well, what do you think about that? Because I think indifferently of that.
I think you put the best 12 teams in the country in.
So my thing is that this is why we changed to the format, because if we only took the best top 12 teams, we are in agreement that, obviously James Madison and Tulane wouldn't be there. But this is the reason why we did the format, is for small mid-major schools like that to have an opportunity. So I don't have a problem with Tulane and James Madison in, because not only I'm not going to say they're deserving, but they were conference champions. Even though they probably were in a weak conference, but they were deserving to actually get there. That's my only thing. If we're gonna do the 12 deserving, then we should have kept the format that we had already. Why change to a 12-team format? Because ultimately you want the Davids to be having an opportunity against the Goliath. That's not mean like they're gonna beat them, but
I don't look at it like that. I think the 4-team playoff was a little too small because you had teams that had one loss that early in the seasons or maybe late conference championship game against a tough team, there was always that room for like, man, that 2023 Georgia team really could have won that national championship, but they're the first ones out at number 5. Nobody's thinking, man, I really think James Madison or Tulane could have won it. That's why it's a 12-team playoff, is because there's more than 4 teams every year that there's a consensus they may be able to win the national championship. There was always more than 4 teams. Maybe there's 10 teams now. I don't think there's 10 teams, but they're talking about going to a 16-team playoff now, which I think is ridiculous. But getting back to the point, Tulane and James Madison is it's almost like a charity act. It's like, we know y'all aren't going to win this, but we'll throw y'all in here just because it's the nice thing to do. You put the best 12 teams in no matter what, in my opinion.
Fair point. And to piggyback on what you said, I didn't have a problem with the list. I think the biggest issue that obviously everybody had was Miami and Alabama in and Notre Dame out. I don't know what's your thoughts about that. I personally, for me, I think the committee, they awarded obviously the head-to-head matchup because the first game of the season, Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head. The only argument I think you can have is I think Miami should have been in, which they are. And it becomes down between Alabama and Notre Dame. And here's my stance on this. Even though I think Notre Dame should be ahead of Alabama because they have 3 losses, one team has 2. Both teams had ugly losses. So those cancel out each other. But if I'm Notre Dame, I feel like this was brought on themselves, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason being is if you're Notre Dame and your AD or whoever is structuring the program, get yourself into a conference. We know they're independent right now. They don't have no conference, but they do schedule big time teams to play in their schedule. We know that, college basketball, college football. But you need to get into a conference. Reason being is because if Notre Dame was in the ACC, they would have been ACC champions. If Notre Dame was in the Big Ten, they would have had an at-large bid. If Notre Dame was in the SEC, they would have had an at-large bid. Because they chose to be independent, I think that they kind of shot themselves in the foot in that sense. Not to say that they don't deserve to be in, which I think they do, but I think the committee basically said FSU's that beat Alabama in the first game, they showed them some grace because they played in the strongest conference. And also, I think they gave them some leniency because they beat Georgia at Georgia.
Well, and they also played they had multiple top 25 wins. Notre Dame played 2 top 25 teams and lost both of them.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Notre Dame, they schedule like sometimes USC, sometimes Ohio State, but when you're playing, if you're not playing in a conference, you've got to schedule at least 5 like blue blood schools. You know what I mean? You got to have like a Georgia, a Michigan, Ohio State, and a Florida. You know what I mean? Like even Florida's not that good this year. They get top recruits.
Even a non-conference like big game, like if it's a SEC versus a Big Ten, like if Florida plays Oregon, you gotta schedule those type of big games, which they did. They got Miami at the time. Miami beat them head to head. You know what I mean? But outside of that, who else was in their schedule? They had Pitt. They had and to your point, the 2 schools that was in the top 25, they lost. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of Notre Dame fans feel some type of way about this, but I think the committee got it right.
I do too.
Yeah.
And so you got Alabama and Notre Dame. They have the same exact regular season schedule. Alabama's ranked over them because the wins they've had. So you can't really take Alabama out because they played that extra game and lost it, and Notre Dame didn't play a game at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I get the Miami going over Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. We're agreeing that.
Yeah. But
head-to-head have to matter.
I couldn't see the committee putting Notre Dame above Alabama just because Alabama lost to the number 3 team in the country.
It's good to feel that somebody great minds think alike, right? It's good to feel like because I thought I was delusional and I was talking to a Georgia fan about this, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's segue to the NFL. A lot of great things. Let's talk about last night. I don't know if you saw it. Jalen Hurts, worst performance of his career, 31.9 QBR rating, worst ever. 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I don't know if this means the Chargers defense is like that, or maybe, like I've been talking, something's going on internally in that Philadelphia locker room. It's not just on the field, because last night, Saquon Barkley performed. I think you can tell that. Saquon Barkley performed. He had a $120 on 15 carries. I don't know why they're not running the ball. And they came predictable. You let the pass rush get going. They already have issues in the offensive line. So I'm worried about Philly. I know they're going to win their division, but that's pretty much what happened last night. Jalen Hurts wasn't good, and I know because I have him on fantasy, but I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, I've always been a Jalen Hurts fan. Like, I think he's a great guy. He's a good athlete, but I've been waiting on this moment with, like, same as like Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, you're good for a season, maybe 2, and then people figure that out. He's not great with his arm. He's not going to beat you with his arm. So if you just stop his feet, you got him. You know what I mean? So I've always seen that in Jalen Hurts, which he's showed flashes of a good arm.
He's a champion, though.
Yeah,
I mean, there's you know, champion, but you can't compare Colin Kaepernick respectfully. You know, hey,
Colin Kaepernick could have been a champion had he had the best defense that the NFL ever seen. I think Jalen got helped out a lot with that defense last year.
Yeah.
But I like the guy. I just don't see paying him what they paid him.
Yeah. Well, you know, my thing is that I think a lot of GMs and presidents, like owners in the NFL, they pay based on what you've done for me lately, and they pay on projection. They pay on, you know, what you can be. So at that time, he had won a national championship. Obviously, he won a national championship, but he had won a Super Bowl. He was Super Bowl MVP. And if you don't pay him the money, who else on the roster as a quarterback you're going to pay? You run the risk of letting them walk on free agency, and I know Philly wouldn't do that. So I don't have a problem with the money that they paid him. Maybe the contract, you can say, I'd probably pay him less so you could pay some other players, but I don't have an issue. I really just think it's an offensive coordinator issue. I think it's not running the football. I don't see I watched all 60 minutes last night. There was no read option. There was no eye candy. None of that. Like, when have we ever thought about the Philadelphia Eagles not being able to have any like gimmicks in their offense, any kind of, like, we saw the Philly special. I mean, like, Philadelphia is known for being able to have like a methodical offense, but also an offense that varies and that keep you off balance. I don't see none of that. They want to drop back. They want to hit A.J. Brown, which had a really good game, and they want to throw it to Goddard, and they want to throw it to Devontae Smith. That's not Philadelphia football. You know.
He been to the Super Bowl twice, right?
Yeah.
And he did throw a pick and a fumble first time since like the 60s.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Most quarterbacks that's been in the league for 10 years haven't been in the Super Bowl. I like Dak Prescott. So I think he got awarded his contract.
Did y'all see where he threw the interception and then he fumbled it?
Yeah. Yeah. That was insane. Kudos to the Chargers, though. I think they really showed that.
Yeah, Justin Herbert showed out last night.
He's got some guts. With a broken, what was it? A broken arm or broken back. He was, you know, broken hand. Yeah.
Dog.
Even ducks could be dogs because of Dan Landon.
Yeah.
I guess a duck could be a dog. I love it. I want to bring this to you. We've seen this for 9 years with the Chiefs. Is it time that we say that I don't know. I'm gonna bring this to you before I give my input on this, but we know the Chiefs aren't really good this year. We got to start paying attention to the Texans. We're gonna get to them, but what do you make about the Chiefs this year? Because Although I thought they wasn't going to win the division, which I was right about, I thought they would at least make the playoffs. It looks like it's not happening. So is this a retool thing for the Chiefs? Is it a rebuild? Like, what do you think about Kansas City?
It's hard to say, man, because they're not getting blown out. You know what I mean? I think if you put them in the playoffs, they have a good game against any of the, like, Denver, Lions, all your top teams. I think the Chiefs battle it out with them. I don't think they're a bad team. I think they didn't win those close games like they have been the last few years. And it may be a luck thing. I don't know.
Right.
It's hard to say, man. You never want to count out Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes, but this season's been an eye-opener.
I agree with you. I think that I think it's a couple things. I think Travis Kelce is going to retire after this year. He's about 36.
Yeah. He's a billionaire now.
Clearly, with Taylor Swift, but a lot of tight ends don't even last that long, and that speaks about the greatness of his game. Chris Jones, arguably their best player on defense. He's getting old too. They have a lot of old people. Their defense is still legit because they got some young guys in the back end and at the linebacker position, but their O-line is old. A lot of their skill position players like Kelsey's old. You know, I just think that they need to retool. I don't think it's a rebuild thing. Anytime you got Patrick, you got a chance, like you mentioned. I just think, this year really wasn't their year, and I don't think the dynasty's over. I just think that the dynasty needs to be tweaked. They need to bring a lot of youth in, Absolutely. And they do a good job at drafting and developing. I just think that,
they haven't been drafting well the last couple of years. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, when you've been in a Super Bowl fight the last 6 years, you're not going to get a top pick.
For
so,
sure.
Respect out of that too. But I want to show some love to Houston because I think we got to start paying attention to what Houston's doing. Mm-hmm. Because if Houston can do that to Josh Allen, we saw what he did to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Who can't he do that to? That defense can take them to the Super Bowl. There's Drake May, unproven, although I love you. Bo Nix is unproven. We don't know what to do. Josh Allen, he's earned his stripes. Although he hasn't been to the Super Bowl, he's earned his stripes. Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game. Jacksonville, who really trusts T-Law in here? So to me, if CJ Stroud doesn't mess up the game, turning the ball over with that defense, that's a championship level defense. If they did that to Mahomes and Allen, to me, I'm looking at Houston's defense saying, what quarterback in the AFC they can't do that to?
Right.
So I got to show them. And I don't think they got some dogs over there. They got something. It ain't dogs, but
they got Nick Chubb, man.
They got something. They got some monsters over there on Houston. What do you think about their chances?
I mean, if CJ Stroud, like you said, takes care of the ball, he's a great athlete, phenomenal arm, but he can definitely I like Texans over Green Bay, honestly. Mm-hmm. I think CJ Stroud is more of a sound quarterback than Jordan Love is. So I like Texans. It's a good
wild card. They're a strong wild card team. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to face them. I would tell you that. The way that they play physical, I wouldn't want to face them.
Oh, Kiki's pick is still looking strong too.
Man, them Rams, boy. What you knew? He must have did a deal with the devil. He knew something before we knew it. Oh, Kiki, man. That's why we love him, man. Absolutely. Before we close out, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it for the culture. Mr. Sheduer Sanders, I wanted to bring this topic up because there's a certain individual in here. We won't point fingers. That is slightly...
We won't point elbows either.
Right. We won't, that doesn't really like the man, but it's officially he's been awarded the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. I'm happy for him. The culture happy for him.
Good shit, Sheduer.
The only rookie this season to throw for 300 yards. Only rookie this season to do that. The only rookie to throw for 3 touchdowns and only 1 interception with over 120 quarterback rating this season. Only rookie to do that. And I wanted to bring up this topic because I know it was going to be a topic of discussion. Is Sheduer Sanders not only the quarterback long term, but is he the franchise quarterback for the Browns? Is he the savior that the Browns been looking for?
That's hard to say. I'm not going to go out and say that, but I do think he's the best quarterback they have right now. And I think he's better than any quarterback you could draft this year, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't see any other option they have. I think that Sheduer is the best option, 100%.
Right. No, I agree with you. I'm hearing stories they might bring
He's better
Deshaun
than Phillip
Watson.
Rivers.
I heard Deshaun Watson coming back. I don't know why.
Yeah, I
They're
heard
thinking
that
about
too.
him coming back. I don't
And you
know.
saw-
I love Deshaun. Hey, let's not get it twisted. That boy in Clemson, he was real deal. But in the pros, he hasn't panned out like he's supposed to be. I'm sorry.
Blew a 24-point lead in the playoffs.
Phillip Rivers, that's hilarious. But I love what I saw from Sheduer. It remains to be seen if he's going to be the quarterback of the future. But I love what I see. I love what I see from him. He makes reads that Dylan Gabriel can't do. And no disrespect, Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But he's past his prime, right? He can go through his progressions, unlike all the other quarterbacks in that roster that they don't have. I don't know why they haven't do that. My problem is this. They got a Kevin Stefanski problem. Because to me, I said it from day one, he's set up for failure. He's set up for failure because it's not only because he wasn't getting the reps with the first team. The guy wasn't even getting the opportunity. And he led the team to come back against the Titans in the fourth quarter. They run a play, a wildcat play. I'm like, Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams ain't in the backfield. Why you like what? He led the team to score the touchdown and to be able to be in that position to tie the game up and to go to overtime, and you don't have him on the field. And to me, that is a problem. That's a coaching problem. Absolutely. Now, you can say whatever you want to say to the media that, we ran that play many times in practice and it worked.
Like it.
Sheduer need to be out there. Sheduer need to be out there and running that offense on the 2-point conversion.
100p. Couldn't agree more.
I don't know if a certain individual want to defer, but to me, I think that and I'm not to say Kevin Stefanski isn't a good coach. I think he knows football, but to me, I just think that, he's setting himself up for failure. If you're my child and you go to school, but I didn't make sure that you left the house with a backpack with a notepad and a pencil, I'm setting you up for failure. Am I not? Mm. That is exactly what I think is going on in Cleveland. It has nothing to do with if the guy's qualified to be a quarterback. It has nothing to do with none of that. I think that, I don't know if it's a hate thing. For what it is, I just think that Kevin Stefanski is setting this guy up for failure. And it's crazy because he's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer.
I think Stefanski found out his old lady was knocking knees with Dion back in the day. He's got a grudge.
Hey, it might be that. It might be that, man. But shout out Dion, man. Shout out the coaches for sure. Thanks. But this wraps it up for us inside of the Red Zone, episode 13 of our great show every Friday.
On another level, yeah. Like ASAP Ferg, I'm on a new level. Okay, yeah, hold up, we about to turn up. Hit a shot at the buzzer, crowds on their feet, they stand up. Okay, goals and touchdowns, had to add a home run. When it comes to this West, I come through in the clutch.